Day 43. No sunrise. "72 cities dark, 48 hours before it reaches the northern corridor. Then we move now."
What are you? What are you?
It's not a weather event. It's not atmospheric decay. It's a door. And I'm the one who left it open.
They told me you requested to be on the mission.
I caused this. I should be the one to close it.
Then don't lie to me. About anything.
Kai Rosen, ma'am. Best pilot on Arc 7.
You're the only pilot on Arc 7 who was available.
I'll take it.
Don't crash my ship. The probability of return is 31%. 32. That's not better. No. But it's accurate. Fine. But I lead systems.
The year
no
is
interference.
2087. Humanity has done what it always does. Pushed further, built higher, reached deeper into the unknown. And for a long time, the unknown stayed quiet. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday in March, the sun set over the city of Karachi and never rose again. Not a storm, not a disaster, not anything science had a name for, just darkness, creeping in from the upper atmosphere. Slow, patient, absolute. They called it the horizon. A living black cloud unlike anything ever recorded. No temperature.
No chemical signature.
No origin point that anyone could find. It simply arrived and began consuming the daylight, city by city, like a tide that only moved in one direction. Within 6 weeks, 72 cities had gone dark. Not destroyed, not flooded, just swallowed. The lights came on. The generators ran. People went to work. But the sun never came back. And somewhere above it all, in the orbital station known as Arc 7, a woman stood alone at a window and counted the days. Her name was Captain Anya, former astronaut, decorated, retired. She had left the stars behind after a mission she never talked about, carrying something quiet and broken just behind her eyes that she never let anyone close enough to see. But when the darkness came, they called her back, because Anya was the kind of person who, when everything was falling apart, got very, very still. She stood in the briefing room and listened as the generals told her what they knew. 72 cities. 48 hours before the horizon reached the northern corridor.
She looked at the map.
Then she said 2 words. Then we move now. But moving meant understanding what they were moving against. And that's where Dr. Elias Vane came in. Vane was brilliant in the way that only guilty men are brilliant, obsessively, the kind of focus that comes from knowing you have a debt you can never fully repay. 3 years before the darkness came, Vane had been working on theoretical physics in a private laboratory. Proof of concept, he told himself. Just a small experiment. A controlled rift in the upper atmosphere, a tear in the fabric of space barely the width of a doorframe. He thought he closed it. He hadn't. Something on the other side had held it open. And for 3 years it had been slowly, quietly, patiently pushing the horizon through. When Anya found him in his lab, surrounded by equations and data tablets and the wreckage of 3 years of private guilt, he told her everything. He said, "I opened this door." And then he said the thing that changed everything. It's not a weather event. It's not atmospheric decay. It's a portal. A portal to somewhere else, to something else. Something that had been watching the door since Vane first cracked it open. Something that wanted out. The mission was simple, in the way that impossible things are sometimes described as simple. Fly a ship called Solara into the horizon. Reach the rift at its center. Close it.
Come home.
Anya assembled her crew. Kai Rosen, 25 years old, the best pilot on Arc 7, which he pointed out was true even if it was also because he was the only available one.
Quick.
Eager. Smiling just a little too wide for someone who had read the mission parameters. Sarah Mack, systems specialist, 32, who read those same parameters and immediately told Anya the probability of return was 31%. Anya said 32. Sarah said that wasn't better. Anya said it was accurate. Sarah came anyway. For people. One ship. One mission. And something on the other side of a hole in the universe that was actively trying to make sure they failed. So Lara detached from Arc 7 on a cold morning that was indistinguishable from night. Kai held the controls steady as the ship descended toward the horizon below. And then the darkness swallowed them whole. Inside the horizon, there was no light. No stars. No reference point. Just the hum of the ship's systems, the cold glow of instrument panels, and the absolute pressing certainty that something in the dark outside knew exactly where they were. Sarah said it first. It's watching us. Nobody argued. Vane worked at his station, running readings, matching frequencies, building the picture piece by piece of something that had no business existing in any physics textbook ever written. And then he said it quietly, almost to himself. The rift is ahead. 4 kilometers. The energy signature is identical to the experiment I ran 3 years ago. Anya pulled him aside, away from Kai and Sarah, into a quiet corridor where the porthole showed nothing but black. She asked him what was on the other side. He said he didn't know. Then he said the thing that kept her awake at night for the rest of the mission. Whatever it is, it's been pushing at the door since the day I cracked it open. Every day, every hour. It has never stopped. And the more the horizon spreads, the closer it gets. The rift, when they reached it, was enormous. A swirling tear in the darkness, its edges crackling with cold energy, its center a depth of black so complete it seemed to go on forever. And then it pulsed.
Once. Twice.
3 times. In a pattern. That's not random, Sarah said. Vane said, it's communicating. Kai looked at Anya. Anya said, don't answer it. Keep working. The plan was to match the rift's core frequency, invert the signal, and collapse it inward like a closing valve. To do that, they needed to bring Solara to the edge of the rift's event threshold, not inside it, but on its very edge, where the energy was strongest, where the ship's shields would last exactly 11 minutes before they failed. 11 minutes to close a door that had been open for 3 years. They flew in. And that's when the horizon showed them what it was really made of. It drained their power. 40% gone in seconds, pulled from the ship's systems as if the darkness outside was drinking it. The lights dropped to red emergency glow. The instruments flickered. And through the cockpit window, in the dark beyond the rift's swirling edge, a shape moved. Not clearly, not with a face or a form, just a presence, a weight, an intent. And then the ship's hull vibrated with a low harmonic pulse.
Structured.
Deliberate. Vane listened, eyes wide, notebook already open. He wrote for 30 seconds. Then he looked up and said very quietly, it's trying to talk. It's saying, let us through. Anya looked at the rift, at the darkness beyond it, at 43 days without a sunrise and 72 cities that hadn't seen the sun since. She said one word.
No.
The frequency lock was achieved. The inversion began. And the thing on the other side pushed back. The ship shook. The rift widened briefly before the wave pushed it back. Vane held the frequency with white-knuckled focus. Sarah called out readings in a voice that never wavered even when everything else did. Kai held Solara at the threshold with the kind of precise, terrified calm that only the very young or the very skilled can manage, and Kai Rosen was, it turned out, both. In the middle of it all, Vane told Anya what he had suspected for days. The ship's emitter wasn't strong enough. Someone would need to go outside, to the external array, to boost the signal manually. He told her he would go. He said, I opened this door. Let me close it. Anya said no. She said, give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, Sarah had found another way. It would burn out the ship's main drive. They would drift home. 14 hours, no propulsion, waiting for a rescue tow. But no one would have to go outside. Vane looked at Anya for a long moment. She said, you're not done yet. Neither of us are. To the cockpit window. No one spoke. They just watched the light return. 14 hours later, Arc 7 sent a tow. And as Solara drifted toward home, Captain Anya sat alone at the cockpit window, golden light on her face for the first time in 43 days. She looked down at Earth, lit, alive, restored. And she said one word, quietly, to no one and everyone. Rise. The door was closed. The darkness retreated. The sun came back. But somewhere in the mathematics of a leather notebook left on a shelf aboard Ark 7, in the handwriting of a man still working through his guilt one equation at a time, a question remained unanswered. The door had been pushed open from the other side. It had been held open for 3 years, which meant that whatever was out there had been waiting for 3 years. And something that patient doesn't give up because of one closed door. Dark horizon. The door is CLO.